They say every town has its secrets. Whispers passed from one generation to the next. Warnings disguised as bedtime stories. And here, in Willow Creek, the story that survived the longest was about a woman in white. A bride who drowned on her wedding night. Some folks claimed she was nothing but a shadow meant to scare children into obedience. But others swore if you walked near the river at midnight, you might just hear her weeping. This is where Daniel's story begins. Daniel was no stranger to loneliness. He was 33, a skilled woodworker who spent most of his days carving furniture and repairing fences for the townsfolk. Quiet, dependable, but invisible. He lived in a small cabin on the edge of the forest, where the sound of the river carried through his window at night. Sometimes when he couldn't sleep, he swore he heard voices in the water. He laughed it off. Loneliness makes a man hear strange things. But deep down, he longed for someone to share his life with. Someone who might see past the sawdust on his clothes and the silence in his eyes. One evening, as twilight fell, Daniel took a walk by the river. The air was cool, the sky bruised with purple clouds. And that's when he saw her. A woman standing near the water, her dress pale as moonlight. Her hair was dark, tumbling past her shoulders, her face half hidden as she gazed at the current. Daniel cleared his throat. Evening. The woman startled, turning to him. Her eyes, green as river glass, were filled with something he couldn't name. Sadness, maybe. Or longing. She smiled faintly. It's beautiful, isn't it? The way the water never stops moving. They spoke for a while. Her name was Eliza. She didn't say much about herself, only that she liked to walk by the river when the world was quiet. Before Daniel could ask more, she whispered that she had to go. And just like that, she vanished into the trees. Daniel couldn't get her out of his mind. Night after night, he returned to the river, hoping to see her again. And he did. Always at twilight. Always by the water. Their conversations grew longer. She was gentle, thoughtful, with a voice that soothed him like a lullaby. Daniel, who had never known romance, felt something bloom inside him. Something dangerous and wonderful. Yet there was strangeness about her. She never spoke of her family. She never let him walk her home. And she always left before dawn. The townsfolk began to notice his distracted gaze. The way he smiled to himself while carving wood. When asked, he brushed them off. But rumors started anyway. And the whispers weren't kind. One afternoon, Daniel stopped by the general store. The old woman who ran it, Miss Hattie, squinted at him. You've been keeping company with someone, haven't you, Daniel? He froze. What makes you say that? Hattie leaned closer, lowering her voice. Be careful where you spend your nights. Folks around here know better than to linger by the river. You remember the story, don't you? Of course he did. The ghost bride. The woman in white. Daniel laughed it off. Just a story for children. But Hattie shook her head. Not just a story. My grandmother swore she saw her once. Said she looked as real as you or me. Until she turned, and her face was nothing but bone. Daniel tried to forget her words. But that night, when he kissed Eliza's hand, he couldn't ignore how cold her skin felt against his lips. Despite the warnings, Daniel fell hard. He carved Eliza's likeness into a piece of cedar, capturing her sorrowful eyes, her delicate smile. When he showed it to her, she touched the carving with trembling fingers. No one's ever seen me like this before, she whispered. They began to dream of a life together. Marriage, a home filled with laughter. Daniel imagined children running barefoot through the grass, Eliza's voice calling them in for supper. But when he spoke of the future, she only looked away, tears glinting in her eyes. Some loves aren't meant to last, she murmured. One stormy night, Daniel followed her. He trailed her through the forest, down to the riverbank. The moonlight flickered through clouds as he watched her step into the shallows, her dress clinging wet to her frame. Eliza, he called. He turned, and what he saw froze the breath in his chest. Her face shifted. One moment, the woman he adored. The next, a ghastly visage. Skin pale as death, eyes hollow, hair floating as if underwater. Her gown was shredded, dripping with riverweed. Daniel stumbled back. What are you?" Her voice broke with sorrow. "I am what the river made me. A bride left to drown on her wedding night. My groom betrayed me, and my soul has wandered ever since. I cannot rest unless someone loves me enough to set me free." Daniel's heart twisted. She was real. The legend was true. And yet, even in her ghostly form, his love for her did not fade. She begged him to leave. "To love me is to risk your soul, Daniel. You'll be cursed as I am. Please, forget me." But Daniel shook his head. "I've lived my whole life in shadows. Me. Alone. I would rather spend eternity bound to you than a single day without you." The town tried to intervene. Men came to his cabin, urging him to break free of the spirit's grip. "She'll drag you down, boy," one said. "You'll bring ruin to us all," another warned. But Daniel stood firm. Love had already claimed him. The storm returned, fiercer than before. Lightning split the sky as Daniel walked to the river. Eliza was waiting, her ghostly form flickering between life and death. He took her hands, ignoring the icy chill. "Marry me," he whispered. "Daniel, if we do this, there's no turning back." "I don't want to turn back." She wept, luminous tears falling like raindrops. As thunder roared, Daniel pulled her close. The river surged, swallowing them both. Villagers watched from a distance, torches shaking in their hands, as the water rose high and then stilled. At dawn, the storm was gone. The river lay calm, quiet. Daniel's body was never found. And for the first time in generations, the weeping of the ghost bride ceased. Some say his love freed her soul, carrying her into the afterlife. Others believe he joined her, bound to her spirit for eternity. And on misty nights by Willow Creek, if you listen closely, you might see two figures walking hand in hand, vanishing into the fog. A reminder that some loves are strong enough to conquer even death.